Hello, and welcome to another installment of the Yakima Symphony Orchestra's Stories from Home, a series of interviews presented by Valley Mall and available at ysomusic.org. My name is Lawrence Golan, and I am the Helen N. Jewett Music Director of the Yakima Symphony Orchestra, coming to you today from my home in Denver, Colorado. And I'm chatting with our principal harpist, Jill Whitman, who comes to us from her home in Bellingham, Washington. Hello, Jill. How are
Hi.
things over there in Washington these days?
Good, beautiful and sunny.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Good to hear. Yeah, it's nice here as well. So tell us, how long have you been playing with the Yakima Symphony Orchestra?
Well, Lawrence, I actually consistently have been playing for the last 14 or 15 years with the symphony. But I must say that when I was in college and grad school in the 80s, I did play second harp occasionally, or fairly often with the symphony under Camille Peterson, who was the principal harpist at the time. So I have actually quite a long history. My teacher at the University of Washington said, you know, Yakima Symphony could use another harp there, and it would probably be a good way for you to get some experience with another symphony. So off I went.
Well, that is quite a long history. So during that time, what has been your most memorable experience with us?
Well, oh my goodness, there are lots of memorable experiences, so it's really hard to narrow it down. I would say, let me say, I guess the first, what comes to me off the top of my head is the symphonic works that are really harp, very harpy or harp literate, I would say, or well written for the harp. We love composers that write well for the harp. So, for instance, Debussy, La Mer, that is a highlight, a wonderful piece. Heldenleben, Strauss writes difficult parts, but fabulously fun to play. Mahler, the things that we've done with Mahler, and of course coming up soon, are wonderful. Sparse, but just perfectly, he just has an excellent sense of the nuance and when to bring harp in. And then of course the Mozart Flute and Harp Concerto with our principal player Hal Ott. That was a highlight of the previous season, 2018, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, those were all great
Hard
nights.
question.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Well, you mentioned that you've played and currently play with other orchestras and you're involved with other organizations. So, what makes being a member of the Yakima Symphony special or unique or different from playing with any other organization?
Okay. Really juicy questions, Lawrence. I mean, well, I would say also the uniqueness of the Yakima Symphony is that it has a community base, an extraordinary community base. Many people work from behind the scenes to make it happen. I would say I am deeply grateful to the host program that we have, for the host guests who host the visiting, those of us who commute across the mountains. And Larry and Becky Scholl, my sponsors, and host family have been incredibly gracious. They feed me, they listen to me, they provide such a lovely breakfast in the morning. All these things make me feel really part of the community, special, and I know other musicians feel the same way. We've developed these relationships with people, and so what makes it special more than just coming in, playing a gig, leaving again, is that we are a musical family, both up front and then behind the scenes too. And I can't say enough of what I see from behind the scenes, that so much goes into that during the week and before the performance. There's so much, and that's really impressive that so many people work positively so that we can be on stage and make these beautiful things happen for the audience. That is amazing to me. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, yeah, it is a wonderful community we have in Yakima, and
Yeah.
so many people involved, and so many people who care deeply about the orchestra as an institution and about the orchestra as a group of musicians, and
Yes.
everybody really feels that personal connection. So,
And that grassroots idea, or that grassroots sense is really palpable there. And I think that's what I really love. Yeah.
great. Well, we all know about your wonderful musicianship, but is there anything sort of, non-musical that might be surprising about you, some interest you might have, or just some interesting fact that you might want to share with us?
Um, I actually love to horseback ride. And the interesting thing about that is Nancy Allen in New York, who's a fabulous harpist. She was doing a home interview this past spring as well, and I found out she has the same passion of horseback riding, and she said some of the same things that I feel, like horseback riding in terms of balance, timing, intuition, the gestures of our hands with reins are very similar in playing the harp and riding horseback.
Ah,
So I have, very happy to say, as of last week, I have a new mare who is a Frisian Rocky Mountain cross. So she's a beautiful chocolate brown dappled
I have no
green,
idea what that means, but it sounds excellent.
or our listeners might, with
Right.
blonde mane and tail. And so she's very, very fun, and I'm enjoying my time with her. Of course, when I'm not practicing orchestra parts.
Of course. Yeah, that's great. Now, Nancy Allen, didn't she teach at Indiana University?
For a while, and at Juilliard, actually.
Okay, yeah, because I went to Indiana University for my undergrad and master's, and I remember her
Yeah.
teaching there. And we have another connection, which is your daughter Katrina.
Yes.
She came to study music at the University of Denver, Lamont School of Music, where I'm on the faculty and the
Yes.
orchestra conductor, and it was a
Yes.
great pleasure to have her playing in the orchestra there.
Yes. And that was so fun, Lawrence, too. I just so appreciate your conducting her and working with her there. She had a wonderful time. Um, um, she is in the next room, so I'm going to be careful
Right.
what I say about her. But she did
Well, it
have
doesn't matter if she's in the next room. This is going to be on the internet
I know,
internationally, so
right? Yeah, she did. She studied viola there as well as jazz bass, which she loved, and she loved composition as well. So even though she's not directly playing and practicing her viola now, she is using all of those musical skills in a good way now, doing some video production work for some smaller companies, and really enjoying putting together the visual element with the musical element. And because of her vast background, she's able to, fit music, and has a repertoire and understanding of music that she can fit in with videos and choose the music that she wants to go with a video. Because I think, as we know, I think music really determines how a video or how a movie goes and sounds. So she'd like to pursue that, and still is playing the piano, and yeah.
Great,
So
great.
sometimes we don't know when we see a student off after college what direction it's going to take, but that was her direction now. And now she feels a bit of camaraderie since all of her friends are in the same position.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, speaking of musical skills, Becky and Larry, Joel, your homestay hosts, and everybody else in Yakima really misses hearing you play. So
Thank
would
you.
you mind playing something for us?
I would be delighted to, Lawrence. And I think the piece I'd like to pick for you is going to be a piece called Song in the Night, Chanson dans la Nuit by Carlos Salcedo. Carlos Salcedo was one of the premier composers as well as harp teachers in the United States. He came over under Toscanini's invitation,
Okay.
and then established a harp school in the United States. So both my two teachers were his students. So
Okay.
I feel like these pieces are really directly passed down to me.
He's like your musical
All
grandfather.
Exactly, with all the musical nuances, because my teachers would say, and now this is what Salcedo told me, or and now this is what you're to do with your hand, things that are not actually in the music, but that he wanted the students to do.
Right.
So I'm deeply indebted to my students and to Carlos Salcedo for this piece, Song in the Night. Okay.
Jill Whitman, principal harpist of the Yakima Symphony Orchestra. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that
Thank you,
and for
Lawrence.
joining me today. And I
Yes,
really look forward to seeing you on stage with the Yakima Symphony Orchestra as soon as we possibly can.
I do too. Yes. Thank you so much, Lawrence, for inviting me to the interview. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Take care.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.